Closing out the quarter strong, had a great third period, and the man who is made for Miller Lite moments, our man Boosie.
Oh, he is doing his thing. He is doing his thing, man. Oh, what is that move?
This is just the warm-up act. He hadn't even cut it loose yet.
Hey, Shalom. Shalom. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto, coming back with another one. We're fools for Yahweh's sake, man. We're not fools for the world's sake, right? What we do when we hit the highways and the byways, we're taking back our manhood. Now, even though we're being fools for Yahweh's sake because we look crazy, right? Being in another man's kingdom, in his rulership, where he has all the power, and telling him that he's about to go into captivity, of course we look foolish, right? We look silly. We even sound silly because it would make no sense to a logical person, right? And we're men, and men are supposed to be logical. So for a man or a group of men to be talking in that way, it sounds foolish, but that's okay because we're fools for Yahweh's sake, right? Let me get that scripture real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 10. It says, "We are fools for Yahweh's sake, but ye are wise. But ye are wise in Yahweh. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable, but we are despised." Right? Because for us to be doing what we're doing without any tangible evidence, even though for us the evidence is already manifested. It's manifested in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that he's bestowed upon us. It's tangible in the fact that we have awakened to certain deep truths that have been hidden from us, right? So for us it's clear, but for the world it's just like, okay, well, these guys are crazy. What are they talking about? This Edomite, who's a representation of you white people, you're about to go into captivity and serve us, when it's actually you. It's the opposite. You have us in captivity, right?
Closing out the quarter strong, had a great third period, and the man who is made for Miller Lite moments, our man Boosie.
Oh, he is doing his thing. He is doing his thing, man. Oh, what is...
And look at all the Caucasian people videoing him. You want to know why they're videoing him? Because this is a minstrel show. And when you go into the entertainment of the 1800s, the minstrel show was the number one way of performance, mainly for Edomites. Edomites would do blackface, but a lot of you Negroes, you had Negro groups that would do this as well, and that's exactly what this is. This is just a modern version of the minstrel show, and you have different modern versions of the minstrel shows even within movies. And you'll see our people denigrate themselves, degrade themselves, only to be accepted. The worst one in the modern time for me that I've seen is what happens on all-inclusive resorts. When you go to the different islands, right? Or when you go to these different places where it's the majority of our people, talking about you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Like when you go to places like Jamaica, you might go to the islands, and then you have our people who entertain and dance and sing and act foolishly, just to be accepted, or just to make Caucasians feel comfortable. You know what I mean? So they're constantly in character, and that character is a minstrel character. That's a minstrel show with the big smile on their face, and everything is okay. We don't know. Maybe maybe a family member just died. You know what I mean? Maybe something happened where you're not happy today, but you got to go to work, got to do that song and dance, and got to make everybody else feel comfortable, right? That's all that this is. Now, this is a menstrual show, and this is from Wikipedia, and it says the menstrual show, also called minstrelsy, was an American form of theater, right? And that's all that Boosie is. Boosie, he's just an actor, right? A lot of you people know him as a rapper, but rappers are actors as well, right? They're paid entertainers that are acting. They're playing a role to deceive our people into being a particular type of way. Now, Boosie's a gangster rapper, so obviously his role is to mislead our people, so our people can get caught up in the prison industrial complex, so they can go to court and they can in turn make the Caucasian richer and keep us in a docile state as well. Because when you have that gangster rap culture, right, they promote alcoholism, they promote drug use, right? They promote gun use, right? But gun use and killing your own brother, right? You degrade your women, right? You call your woman a bitch or a hoe, right? So it says, it was an American form of theater developed in the early 19th century. The shows were performed by mostly white actors wearing blackface, right? And here we have a prime minister, right, Justin Trudeau, that got caught even doing blackface, just to let you know how prominent this form of entertainment is. Because this form of entertainment goes back to the scriptures, man. This is Lamentation chapter 2 and 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Right? Because that's what we represented, right? We represented kings, priests, right? Because when you think about Judah represents royalty and rulership. The Levites represents lawgivers, right? The priests, right? These are all righteous men, right? And these are all our people. And when you're looking at someone like a Boosie, I don't remember if he's a Haitian or if he's a Judite. I don't know. Right? But he's supposed to be a righteous man. And you have a righteous man bending down on his knees, doing a minstrel show, right, in front of his enemies. This is this is prophecy right here, right? It says, they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. And it's true, right? We're destroyed. We are a people that are destroyed. But guess what? That's what's written in this book as well. In this book is not just written, it's not just the gospel, right? There's a lot of good news in here, but we're in the book of Lamentations. This is Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 9. And it says, And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And that's talking about the Bible, right? It's talking about the words of the Most High. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. And what's woe? Destruction, right? And we know what lamentation and mourning is, right? So in this book is not only good news as well, it's also bad news. And we're going through that bad time right now. We're going through a very dark time right now as a people. Now, yes, we're on the rise because of our oppressor being in the time of his downfall. So back to Minstrel Show. It says white actors wearing blackface makeup for the purpose of comically portraying racial stereotypes of African Americans. There were also some African American performers and black only minstrel groups that performed and toured minstrel shows, stereotype blacks as dim-witted, lazy, buffoonish, cowardly, superstitious, and happy-go-lucky. Now, when you see Boosie, he's doing the happy-go-lucky, which is what the majority of our people do, right? Like when I was talking about our people that are on the islands, the workers, right? You have the workers that are on these different resorts, right? And who goes to these different resorts? You elites, right? I'm not saying regular people can't go to a resort, but the majority of people that are on their vacations regularly, right? They're able to buy out the top rooms and they just live good. Are the elites, right? Or the super rich. And when they go there and they're met by our people who are in a very low state, right? A place, they probably go to Jamaica where the economy is not that good. The dollar is pathetic, right? And for them to make just $1, right? Just $1 American, they have to do all of this dancing, singing, and smiling. Even if they're not having the greatest day, they still have to go to work and smile with their enemies, man, and put on a damn show. Okay? And we do that here too, right? In the Western world, right? We do that here as well. So it's no different. Let's go back. It says minstrel shows stereotype blacks as dim-witted, lazy, buffoonish, cowardly, superstitious, which is very true, right? That's no longer just a portrayal, right? Our people are very superstitious, and it's actually disgusting, man. Right? Our people are very, very superstitious people. They don't deal with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? They don't deal with empirical truths or empirical data, right? They don't even deal with the information or the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, right? They deal with superstition that's been handed down to them by different family members. It says each show consisted of comic skits, right? That's why in this world, our comics are so big, like the entertainers, the different Kevin Harts, the Mike Epps, what's this guy's name? Cat Williams, because these guys are a representation of the modern day minstrel, right? The Dave Chappelles. Okay. Where am I? Each show consisted of comic skits variety acts, dancing, and music performances that depicted people specifically of African descent, right? There's no such thing, right? We're not the people that they're talking about. They're not Africans. You're the true people of God. You're the Hebrew Israelites from your respectable tribes, from Judah all the way down to Issachar, right? A representation today of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are God's chosen people, okay? It says, blackface minstrelsy was the first uniquely American form of theater, okay? So what's the theater? The theater is just a big joke against you so-called Negroes, man. It's just a big joke. It's to laugh at your downfall, right? That's all that it is, right? It's a mockery. It's a big mockery, and to entertain the people that are in power, right? Just like when we were in power, you had the gesture, right? Or the joker, and their job was to entertain us, right? Until they didn't entertain us anymore. Okay? Just like in modern times, what do they tell us? They tell us to shut up and dance, or shut up and act, or shut up and play sports, right? Because to them, we're just minstrels. We're just here to entertain them. It says, and for many minstrel shows emerge as brief, burlesque, and comic entr'acts. What is that word? Let's figure out what that is. I don't know what that word is. Entr'acty? What is it? Means between the acts. It can mean a pause between two parts of a stage production, synonymous to an intermission. Oh, okay. I never knew that. It's an intermission. Okay. Now, it says in the early 1830s, in the northeastern states, they were developed into full-fledged art form. In the next decade, by 1848, blackface minstrel shows were the national art form, right? So this was a national art form, right? So when you see people like Justin Trudeau, who is currently the Prime Minister of Canada, doing blackface, you have to understand these people look at this like an art form of disrespecting us, because they understand that they are in rulership. And when you're in rulership, you can do shit like this, right? Just like back in the day when you had the monarchy, when you had different kingdoms, they would have jesters, right? Michael Jackson did a video where he was a jester because he was letting you know that he knows his place. Okay, he was only here to entertain the king. Now, even though that they had the king as Eddie Murphy was also a jester. So that whole skit was just a skit, was entertainment, even though that they know that you are the true representation of royalty, right? But it was a skit within a skit, if you understand. It says they were developed into full-fledged art form in the next decade. By 1848, blackface minstrel shows were the national art form, translating formal art such as opera into popular terms for a general audience. By the turn of the 20th century, the minstrel show enjoyed but a shadow of its former popularity, having been replaced for the most part by the vaudeville style theater. Vaudeville, let's figure out what that is. What is that? Vaudeville is a theatrical genre of variety entertainment which began in France at the end of the 19th century. A vaudeville was originally a comedy without psychological or moral intention, based on a comical situation, a dramatic composition, or light poetry, interspersed with songs or ballads. It became popular in the United States and Canada from early 1880s until early 1930s. Okay. So going back, it says the form survived as professional entertainment until about 1910. Amateur performances continued until the 1960s in high schools and local theaters. The genre has had a lasting legacy influence and was featured in the British television series The Black and White Minstrel Show as recently as the mid-1970s. Generally, as the civil rights movement progressed and gained acceptance, minstrelsy lost popularity. The typical minstrel performance followed a 3-act structure. The troupe first danced onto stage, then exchanged wisecracks and sang songs. The second part featured a variety of entertainments, including pun-filled stump speech, which is what we have today with our comics. People like Dave Chappelle's, Cat Williams, right? That's what it is. So they're doing the second part of the minstrel, which is the different puns. The final act consisted of slapstick musical plantation skit or a send-up of a popular play. It says minstrel songs and sketches featured several stock characters, mostly popular, the slave and the dandy. Okay? Which is what Boosie is a representation of. He's the slave. Okay? These were further divided into sub-archetypes such as the mammy. And we all know the mammy, right? And back in the day, the mammy was fat, out of shape, and loud, right? And today, the mammy might have a BBL, but she's still loud, right? Right? The mammy today is a representation of the female rappers, the different female actors, right? They're mammies. Her counterpart, the old darky, the provocative mulatto wench, right? And you have that today, right? The wench, the what's her name? Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. They always say she's the most beautiful woman. Oh my gosh. What's her name, man? And she played in the movie called The Monsters Ball. Halle Berry. That lady played a mulatto. Hold on, what do they call it? The provocative mulatto wench. That's what she was. She in the movie The Monsters Ball with Billy Bob. She was just a wench. That's all she was. And they put that in modern. So everything that you have today goes back to then. They just modernized it so it doesn't look as bad. And the black soldier, right? And the black soldier is a representation of Denzel Washington, right? Where Denzel is always saving the white child. You know, they might, in the movie, they might have the black man protect the white child or protect the white woman, to where at the end of the movie, he dies protecting the white child or dies protecting the white woman, right? So these things are all modern. They're here today. Okay? It says, and the black soldier minstrels claim that their songs and dances were authentically black, although the extent of the genuine black influence remains debated. Why would that be debated? You white people don't know how to sing. You white people don't have no rhythm. Like, shut up. Spirituals known as jubilees entered the repertoire in the 1870s, making the first undeniably black music to be used in minstrelsy. During the 1830s and 1840s, at the height of its popularity, it was at the epicenter of the American music industry. You hear? So this is what the entertainment industry was built upon. So when you see people like Boosie, you see people like Denzel Washington, you see people like Halle Berry playing certain roles, it's for a reason. Or that lady, Precious, that big overweight girl, and her mom. Oh my gosh, what's that next? I don't know these people, man. I see their face in my head, but Monique. Her name is Monique. Her mother played the mammy. Right? They just modernize these different acts so it doesn't look as bad. But these are still minstrel shows. Okay? It says, during the 1830s and the 1840s, at the height of its popularity, it was at the epicenter of the American music industry. For several decades, it provided the means through which American whites viewed black people. And they still do. Right? And they still do. On the one hand, it had strong racist aspects. On the other, it afforded white Americans more awareness, albeit distorted, of some aspects of black culture in America. Hey, there was even another movie that Halle Berry did, and that's what she played, man. I can't remember the name, man. Let me try and find it. This movie, Baps. This was a minstrel right here. This was a complete minstrel, right? And that's why they call it comedy, right? But this was a complete minstrel, just by the way the characters behave themselves, right? Same thing with the Wayans brothers, right? The whole Wayans brothers, the whole Saturday Night Live. Those are all minstrels, man. So back to Wikipedia, it says, although the minstrel shows were extremely popular, being consistently packed with families from all walks of life, just like we just seen with Boosie, right? That was a basketball game. And there was people from all walks of life there. And he was just a minstrel show. And every ethnic group, they were also controversial. Integrationists decried them as falsely showing happy slaves, exactly, while at the same time making fun of them, exactly. Segregationists thought such shows were disrespectful, which they are, and demeaning and depraved, right, of social norms, as they portrayed runaway slaves with sympathy and would undermine slavery. That's actually hilarious, right? Because they wanted to keep us in that state. Let's go, right? See, look at all these people, and they're all laughing at him, right? He's just a big joke, but he's doing that just for his bread, right? He's just a big joke. And that's why I said we are fools for Yahweh's sake. We're not fools for the world's sake. This is all embarrassing. This is Psalms 137, verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. And that's the problem. The problem is that our people don't know their history. They don't know where they come from, right? If they knew that we were the true Israelites, then hopefully they would behave differently, right? But our people, they just think that we are slaves, and that's all that we were, and that's all that we ever will be, right? So they've accepted their role in this society as being on the bottom, okay? Verse 2, we hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. Why? Because of our condition. Because of our condition, we really shouldn't be singing and dancing. What the hell are we singing and dancing about? The only song that we should be trying to learn is these words, right? That's it, the words of the Most High. It says, for there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. See, that's Boosie right here, right? They require of us mirth, but this is embarrassing.
This is just the warm-up act. He hadn't even cut it loose yet. For Miller Lite moments, our man Boosie.
Oh, he is doing his thing. He is doing his thing, man. Oh, what is that move?
You hear what the guy said? He said, what is that move? That's a damn, he's a loser, right? He's just a big comedy act. Okay? It says, verse 3, for there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth. Right? So even though we're in the condition that we're in, they're still requiring of us mirth. Singing and dancing when you're a damn slave, when you're at the bottom, right? And even though he has his riches, he's not in a good state spiritually. He's not in a good state mentally. He's not in a good state emotionally. He's destroyed. His people are destroyed. And if your people are destroyed, you are also destroyed. Saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Right? Because we're destroyed. How are you going to sing and dance when you're in the condition that you're in? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Okay? So it's very important that we understand where we are. And it doesn't mean that we're going to walk around, woe is me, spirit, woe is me, because there's a lot of things that we have to celebrate, right? Just like our enemies are celebrating our downfall, well, we're celebrating their downfall as well. When we watch the news and we see that, Russia's getting prepared to go to war and all of these type of things, we rejoice. We clap our hands just like you clap your hands at our destruction, man. Right? And with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well. And to the brothers on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom. Till next time. Kwame Yasharallah.